Podcast, presented by Moto Fit Club, your go-to resource for moto coaching, fitness, and community for all women riders. Whether you're brand new to riding, a weekend warrior, or professional racer, Moto Fit Club was created by women for women to support your journey on a dirt bike. Please welcome your hosts, Bry Marcotte and Sammy Mummert.
What's up, guys? I'm Bry with Moto Fit Club. Welcome to the Moto Made Podcast. I have co-host Sammy with us. What's up, Sammy?
What's going on?
So in this episode, we're going to cover and recap our trip to Thunder Valley, which was round 2 of the WMX Championship. So to start, Sammy, why don't you tell us how Moto Fit Club all of a sudden decided to race Thunder Valley, considering we were only supposed to show up to Hangtown, and then all of a sudden plans changed.
So obviously round 1 Hangtown was planned out for about a hard year. And then it was very up in the air. Thunder Valley, obviously, LV, Lauren Volunteer, and Lauren Woods were going out there, and they were going to show up for Moto Fit Club. But on the way home from Hangtown, we kind of get a little bit of a frantic call from Big Brit, and she's like, look, the whole team wants us all to go out. We got to be there. We're going to show up and we're going to race this thing. John from 360 Motorsports is going to drive his big ass RV out there. We're going to load the bikes and we're going to leave by Wednesday, and you guys have to be there. So we kind of scrapped together our weekends, our work, take time off, everything like that. And it ended up working out that the whole MotoFit Club team could go out and support for Thunder Valley. So I think it was one of the best decisions that we ever made, but it also shows, all of us girls get together and we put our heads together and we're like, let's just do this. And within a couple hours, we had an Airbnb and flights to get out there. So it was pretty badass. It was very much like old times of just like kind of pin it and make it happen. So Thunder Valley, here we come.
Well, not to mention, we weren't even home from Hangtown yet. We were still driving home on Sunday from Hangtown when the phone calls came through, and it was like, all right, well, we literally hadn't even wrapped up the first trip, the first round. We literally were like, all right, well, say less. So it was pretty exciting. But like you said, it was like we had so much fun at Hangtown. It was totally like this nostalgic, therapeutic trip because all of us were just having so much fun in the pits, and we made all these new friends, and obviously had awesome results for the team that we were like, well, why would we not just bop down over, a 16-hour drive? Let's just bop down to Colorado, like no big deal. Let's go into debt for this one. I still think it was worth it, and we'll talk about why it was so worth it here in a second, but best decision to sporadically just repack the bags and jump in the motorhome, jump on a flight, bop on down to Colorado. So pretty exciting. So we show up at Thunder Valley after a stellar weekend in Hangtown, at least for the Moto Fit Club team. Everybody did so great that we were like, well, let's kind of see what we've got in the tank. So results, again, overall first place, Lala Turner, not really shocked. I mean, Sammy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we really expected otherwise. It would have been nice to see maybe Charlie, Michaela, Jordan, maybe even Taylor McCutcheon. It would have been nice for a switch up for first, but I was not really shocked. Were you?
I wish I was, but yeah, I think Charlie had a good pull for a little bit there when Lala went down. There was like an opportunity and a chance for her to get up front, but no, I'm not shocked. Lala's on the gas, obviously. I think throughout the series we'll probably see a little bit more competition up front, but Lala's pinned for sure.
I clearly had no issues with suspension this last weekend. This last round that I knew of or heard of, didn't really make any comments on suspension bothering her. I think she said that she had a little bit more time throughout the week to kind of dial it in. So, maybe we put that problem to bed, but not that anybody from an outside perspective saw that was a struggle. Obviously, she's gone 4 motos undefeated at this point. So maybe that's why she's crashing in the corners, though, still with the suspension. It seems to be a kind of a common occurrence. Again, not really bad, though, considering she's still gone undefeated this season. So if you tip over in a corner, okay, whatever. She still has proven that she's still the fastest on the track because she's been able to catch up to, whoever past her, pass them back, and then win the moto. So
right.
I'm not sure if we're going to see any type of change other than maybe cleaning up the mistakes, because now this is 2 rounds in a row where she's done the same thing by tipping over in a corner. So doing something that's like so minor too, you know what I mean? I mean, she's obviously pushing it and racing at a race pace, but just these casual tip overs and corners are going to start to weigh on her and get a little old if those are the kind of mistakes she continues to make. But good news for Charlie Cannon though, to capitalize on those mistakes. Unfortunately though, she hasn't been able to hold on to it because she has gotten passed back after taking advantage and kind of striking on those mistakes. But she was more consistent this week, going 2-2 for second overall. So she's capitalized on the mistakes, but hasn't been able to capitalize enough to get a moto win or an overall. So hopefully Charlie will I hope she goes out and straight up beats her. I mean, that would be really competitive. That would really make for a great storyline.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you think that Charlie Cannon has it in her in the speed and the, will she be able to kind of put together a whole moto? And yeah.
I think she's obviously neck and neck with her. Like, there was some good racing at this weekend at Thunder Valley with her, but I think it may take a little bit more of a bigger mistake maybe from Lala for her to actually stay up front, because Lala, I mean, the whole group of girls up front were still lapping last place, right? Like, the speed is there. So we'll see. Obviously rooting for Charlie Cannon or even McCutcheon or like someone to step up to the plate, but we're going to have to see next weekend at High Point how it goes down.
Well, speaking of Taylor McCutcheon, like you said, first American podium for her, so she was really excited about it. It was definitely nice to see a little bit of a shake-up for third place. She went third in the first moto and fourth in the second moto for third overall. It was also kind of known, she had posted on social media, I think Saturday, or maybe even Friday night after Moto 1, that she was battling tonsillitis. You've had that before. Mm-hmm. What is the pain level, and how do you ride a dirt bike trying to survive tonsillitis?
I'm shocked that she was able to get on the bike, even swallow or breathe, or it's like having strep throat times like 40. So you can't swallow, you can't eat, and you especially can't breathe while riding a dirt bike as hard as you can for 12 minutes plus 2 laps. So I think it's super impressive that these girls go out there and they still get the job done. And what I was really impressed with is when they gave her speech on the podium, she just lightly said, it was just like a little hard to breathe. So it really shows the strength in these women getting out there and still getting the job done. To place third with tonsillitis, I'm sure she felt like shit. I mean, that is no joke. I mean, maybe right after the race, she had her tonsils taken out, and now she's going to go race High Point. Who knows? I mean, such a sick opportunity, obviously, for her to be here. Obviously, she doesn't want to miss a race for anything. And I think it shows, her strength going into this, because tonsillitis is not fun.
I don't think I've had strep or tonsillitis, so Lucky it sounds horrible. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I had my tonsils taken out long ago.
Yeah, so that's excellent. I mean, it's actually, you prevented that.
You know what? Like the last episode, we talked about, the requirements to make it in the top 6, let alone maybe the top 15. Maybe to get on the podium, you need to battle some tonsillitis, plus the nails, plus full face makeup. Then you might have a chance. So super badass for Taylor to do that, because I have, the worst that I've got is asthma, and I know that Brittany has that as well. So the high altitude, being in Colorado, it's weird. It like plays to some people's immune systems, and then some other people are like completely unaffected. Like
right.
It just kind of depends on. I don't think it has anything to do with maybe even training. I mean, you could prepare for the altitude. But we've been going to Thunder Valley for, Pro Motocross has been going there for so many years that, maybe back in the day it was taken a little bit more seriously with the elevation and the altitude. But now it's like the bikes don't struggle as much. People are more adept to tuning into their body and like figuring out what they need to kind of get through. I mean, again, like it just kind of depends on your body, and I just don't know if there's much you can do to prepare. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about it in a second, but Emma Milcevic suffered altitude sickness, unfortunately. So it's weird. It's like you don't know who's going to catch it, what's going to happen, how do you prepare? I mean, you've been to Colorado a ton of times, as a snowboarder yourself and stuff like that. I mean, like, how do you prepare for altitude training, I guess? Or can you even prepare for that?
Like, really being extra super hydrated, like, obviously helps. They can even give you pills, which is like kind of seems maybe like a small cheat code, but the thing is, like, if you only have 2 days to race, like, some people might actually be doing that to like help with blood flow and everything like that. So it is a hard thing to train for. It's different than like, hey, if you're going to train in the humidity and the heat, it's kind of a different effect on your body, right? So it's really like a coin toss of if you're going to feel the altitude, if you're going to get sick, if it's going to make you feel like shit for 1 day or 3 days, right? You really don't know until your body acclimates to it. So again, to see Emma go out there and still rip, even not feeling well, it's like nothing can stop these girls from getting on the bike and just getting after it.
It's a good point too, because none of us really knew that Taylor was suffering from tonsillitis and Emma was suffering from altitude sickness until they really posted about it on social media, because their riding was top tier. Neither of them looked like they were suffering from anything, let alone some bike malfunctions as well that we'll talk about. Everyone put on such a good show. Everyone raced at such a high level and such a professional level that I had no idea that, like, a lot of these behind the scenes factors were taking place. So super badass. Really huge congrats to Taylor McCutcheon for getting on the podium. Well deserved. So hopefully see more of that. She is super fast, so I'm not shocked by any means, but overcoming the diversity that was kind of thrown at her at Thunder Valley means that if she's at full health, I'll be really, really curious to see at full health what she can kind of do, in the future rounds. So right behind Taylor, of course, once again, super fanning over Jordan Jarvis, 4th overall.
For sure.
Can't say enough good things about her. Just a classic purebred racer at heart. 5th, both motos, for 4th overall. So more bike problems, it sounds like, which is crazy, for her to have to deal with that 2 rounds in a row. Hopefully, when we get to High Point, there'll be a little bit of a reprieve from the motor issues or bike issues that she's kind of struggling with, because I'd love to see her with a solid bike that she can trust and go out there and let it eat without having any reservations. But not only that, but had to fly out immediately after the second moto, like she did at Hangtown, to race the Canadian WMX series. So literally, we were talking to her before the second moto about how she was like, her dad was really concerned about her making her flight. Jordan seemed a little less concerned. She seemed like she had it together, but maybe that's just the racer in her, where she's like, yeah, it's fine, I'll make it, it's cool. But literally didn't even see her, like literally before we could even get back to our own pit, because she was pitted in the same pit row as the rest of us. And by the time the race ended and we walked back to the Moto Fit Club camp area, like she was already in a car, already off. So made it to Canada, went 2nd overall in Canada, so good for her, super stoked. But I mean, I don't know, it was pretty fun watching the 450 Moto 2 all together at our camp with Jordan and her dad. Did you get any insight from her? Obviously, we were prepping her for podium speeches. I heard you practicing with her on getting a 3rd, hopefully. What were your thoughts on Jordan that weekend?
I obviously, like, we saw what went down at Hangtown. It's like, okay, very badass. Obviously, like, bike blow, races, bump start, get off the gate, still kill it, Moto 2. So to actually get to hang out with her this weekend, I think that's what's so special about, like, the WMX pits, is like we all get to hang out. We're super inviting. And, first world problems, we have a TV on the outside of the RV. So, of course, we have to watch the 450 and 250 race on the TV while we're at the track. So, yeah, Jordan and her dad coming over, just like, it's like we had like this like hospitality pit going on and we were inviting everyone over though, right? And like we like always want to make that a point to make everyone feel comfortable and welcome at these races. And they came right over and they brought their little chairs and we had our little powwow, watched all the races and stuff like that. And it was very cool to get to know Jordan and kind of hear a lot about what she does, works full time, has a ton of support up in Canada for her racing up there. And then obviously still killing it out here for the WMX rounds in the US. So really badass chick, really happy that we got to hang out with her this weekend.
So right after fourth overall, we have the big talk of the weekend was Dutch racer and two-time FIM WMX champion over at the MXGP series, Lotte Van Drunen, who went fourth in the first moto and sixth in the second moto for fifth overall. It was her very first, WMX, American WMX race. You kind of got some vibes from some of the riders in the pits on kind of what her expectation was coming out to the U.S. for the first time.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like obviously she's well taken care of over in Europe, bike-wise, transportation-wise, rig-wise, all these things. So showing up to her first race, which I think it was probably 2 days before the race, which is an accomplishment in itself with jet lag and everything like that. But showing up to the actual race was kind of surprised about like the lack of support here. Like, where's my bike? Where's my fifth wheel? Where's my big rig? Like kind of a different experience for sure from her. So I don't know if she was expecting something different over here, because a lot of the women here from the US and had been racing here also don't get that support, right? So maybe it was a different expectation coming in, and also maybe kind of like an eye-opener for the next few rounds that she does here, hopefully. So yeah, little different run than European races for her.
Do you think that after her performance at Thunder Valley, getting a fourth and then getting a sixth place finish, being again her first race on US soil, do you think that she's going to see more support and maybe more, not pressure, because basically what we're hearing is that she wants to for sure pursue, racing the WMX series here in the States full time next summer. Right. I don't think that's necessarily a surprise, but do you think after her performance this weekend that she'll see maybe more of that stardom kind of treatment, like what we see with Lala and we see with Charlie and Michaela? I
don't think right away. I think maybe if she gets a few podiums and things like that, like maybe some things will come up, but maybe she also sees, there's a lot of fast girls out here that still don't have that support, so it could go either way. It depends on kind of how she brands herself out here as well. If she sticks with it, like you said, if she does it next summer, maybe some more opportunities will pop up. But, I think it's kind of like an eye-opener overall to come over here and like maybe expect the best, but you're in line with the girls in Vans too, and they're all fast. So yeah, it's different. Yeah,
that's a good point too. She definitely was kind of self-supported coming out here for Thunder Valley. From, the info that we all got, she was kind of doing it on her own. Obviously there's a break in the MXGP series, so that's what, gave her the opportunity to come out here. Same with the Coonan brothers, who raced
right.
pro motocross in both 450 and 250 class, which both had great success in their classes too. I mean, the 250 class, Coonan brother won the second moto, or the results were crazy. And then the 450
I think he was podium.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, won the second moto, and then the 450 Coonan brother, I think, got second both motos. I mean, it's insanity what the Europeans are bringing over here too. So I wasn't really shocked that Lotte was able to pull off a top five, average top five in both motos. Obviously, getting fourth the first moto and sixth the second moto. So I do agree with you, though. I think that she's going to have to really show up at High Point, and now that she's had some time on the motorcycle, the suspension, the engine, all that kind of stuff, now that she's at least had one round on that bike, and has some experience in the US and isn't battling anything. I mean, I didn't hear or see if she was battling jet lag or, the travel, but I can only imagine that's a variable for sure, let alone racing Thunder Valley, where you do have some, there's the potential for the altitude sickness like we talked about. So
yeah, there's elevation. Yeah.
The elevation. So I'm curious to see at High Point cross country. It's the opposite end of the country. Totally different terrain, totally different track, totally different environment. Not really dealing with any type of altitude. I'd like to see if she could podium. I mean, like you said, the top 3 girls are freaking gnarly. They're super fast. So I don't think she's not capable of doing it. I think she can totally get a podium. I think it might be a little far-fetched to say she could get a win if the first and second place riders don't make any mistakes. You know what I mean? If Lala doesn't go down, Charlie doesn't go down, Michaela doesn't have any issues, I think it'd be really difficult for Taylor. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Taylor doesn't make any mistakes. Like I think it'd be really hard for her to pull off a win, but I don't think it's far-fetched to say that she can get a podium, and I think that's what she would need to get more support, like you were saying, like where she could get the rig, she could get more factory support here in the States, because she definitely has it in Europe, and she should. Right. This is she's currently trying to defend her title out there in the MXGP series. So, obviously coming out here, I think everybody in the States want to see where she's going to line up and stack up. And, it is a little bit more difficult to get that kind of factory treatment when you are only scheduled to do 1 or 2 rounds in the States and then go back. You know what I mean? So with the break in MXGP, in the MXGP series, obviously, coming out here is a good chance for her to kind of, it's like a precursor to what she can do in the 2027 outdoor series. So either way, good for her, for everything that's been thrown at her to get over here. Really stellar performance, and so we can only see better results from her, and hopefully High Point will be that moment for her. So Piper Bell came in 6th overall. She went 6-7, had the second week in a row for her to have a pretty consistent outcome for both rounds. So also confirmed, it's obviously her first WMX series season. So with that, I mean, what does she need to do to get out of that 6th, 7th position? I mean, going into High Point, with obviously we had, Lotte came into race and Taylor was, firing on all cylinders and got a podium. But what are your thoughts on Piper Bell being such a young, brand new professional WMX racer? What does she need to do to kind of get herself into the 5th or even 4th position at a High Point?
I think a lot of girls want to be in that 4th and 5th position right now. I mean, for sure, the gate is stacked. I mean, for her rookie year, she's obviously killing it. Like she's had a lot of experience. It seems like, at Loretta's and things like that. I think one of like the biggest things is once you get into the WMX is like the consistency, right? And it seems like she's had that like the last 2 rounds, but when you're so young and you go into these like bigger moments, it's kind of like this adjustment. But I think she obviously has the talent and the skill, but like again, top 10 is stacked. So we'll have to see kind of where she goes. First year being pro, 17, has to be at that age, kind of a different feeling of pressure. So I'm sure she's feeling that as well. But yeah, we'll see how she does at High Point. I think we'll see also how the girls do in the heat and the humidity is going to be kind of a different ball game going out there. You go from elevation, boom, and then you go back to this humidity. So it'll be a good race next round, and we'll see how Piper does.
Yeah, she definitely had a solid breakout ride both these last 2 rides, so that's pretty badass. Hopefully we can get another whole shot out of her. Talk about a total statement, being able to pull a whole shot on these girls too. So hopefully she can give us another whole shot soon. But like you said, it's a little jarring going from altitude to humidity. So I guess we'll have to see how the girls kind of shake up. Everybody thinks that, you go out and you ride a dirt bike and whoever's the fastest wins. And it's like in some shape and form, that's true. Like it can be that basic. But then when you think about all the elements and variables that go into simply performing on a motorcycle at this caliber, it's so complex. I mean, it's insane. So it's like you mentioned with Piper, it's like, how do you get out of that 5th, 6th, 7th position that she's kind of been hovering in the last 2 rounds? It's like, it comes down to like, it's intense detail to try and pull yourself out of those to do better because the competition's so stacked and the elements are so intense. I mean, the track designs are more intense, the speed's faster, the bikes are faster, the weather is different. I mean, the last couple of years we've seen rainstorms hit Thunder Valley. So this year being the first in a while to not have any thunderstorms, that's nice too. A lot of people I think were expecting there to be some type of weather going into Thunder Valley, and then there wasn't. So you had this perfect weather weekend, but then again you're dealing with other elements that you have to kind of be prepared for. So it's intense. It's not just as simple as like, oh, just be the best on a dirt bike. It's like, okay, well, Lotte is probably dealing with adjusting to the time change, and Emma's adjusting to the elevation, and it's like there's all these tiny little things. So I guess we'll have to see how Piper kind of settles into her new position at the WMX pro ranks. So
if she keeps getting those starts, baby, that's a big deal. That's a
keys
big one.
to the race.
Yeah,
race hard, race fast, get the whole shot. It's all the same thing. So right after that, we had our girl Lilian Pettis. She was consistent again with an 8th place in both motos, but she did have some bad luck in that first qualifying session. She went down pretty bad, kind of banged up her midsection, kind of like her stomach, liver area. Wasn't quite sure what it was. Her stomach was hurting really bad. Kind of briefly talked to her afterwards. She was pretty disappointed in crashing in general, and I think again that kind of shows like how gnarly she is as a competitor. Finished the qualifying sessions but pulled off in quite a bit of pain. So the first time I had noticed that I didn't even know she crashed. I saw she was sitting in the back of the EMS unit. Obviously I was like, well, what's going on here? That's like, and her mom was basically just saying like, they're just wanting to confirm that there's nothing more serious, because, obviously you never want to mess with like internal injuries, but her mom also said that she had some type of damage or injury to her liver prior. So she was, there's like obviously that concern there, but nevertheless went and I think they ended up going off site to get a little bit more, to get further evaluation, and everything checked out well, which is awesome. Obviously she was banged up going into the motos, which is a bummer, but for her to still pull off a top 10 finish while dealing with that injury. I don't want to say it was a minor injury, because any type of contusion or anything like that to anything internal is the fucking worst. I mean, I've never experienced that, but it's kind of a scary thing. I know Brittany kind of dealt with that when we were racing pro way back in the day. I think we were at Freestone, and she kind of got pinched off on the start, and like her body hit. There was like this huge tractor tire on the inside corner, and I think she got like slammed into it, and I didn't even know because I was racing too, so I had no idea until I pulled off, and she had gone to the local hospital just to like triple confirm there were no internal lacerations or any damage or whatever. But it's just a scary thing, so I'm glad that the EMS was there to kind of give her a quick check out and that nothing was like more serious. But in that moment you're kind of like, holy shit, like this can go from bad to worse really quick. Like you can have just a casual crash, and I don't want to say casual as in crashing is anything casual, but you can have like a mild crash, but if your bars hit you or somebody hits you, you know what I mean, all of a sudden now it's like a catastrophic event where you're like, holy shit, like there could be internal damage, and it's like that could be career ending. We've all seen that before too, so I'm glad that she was okay. But again, stellar performance both weekends. Going into round 3, I'm hopeful that she'll heal up good and hopefully show up and show out at almost at Hangtown, at High Point. So we'll see if she can overcome the diversity she had this last weekend. But I know you were chatting with her and her family a lot. So what did you kind of take away from the nails camp, the custom canvas nails camp?
Oh my gosh, the custom nails are so epic. Yeah, we should have talked about actually producing those gloves coming up here soon. Her family is just really incredible. I'm glad that we got to camp next to them. Again, it was obviously kind of a joke at Hangtown that we're like, oh, we're going to bunk with each other. And then sure as shit, we roll out to Thunder Valley and it ends up happening. But she brought her 2 sisters out. We got to meet her mom and everything like that. Luckily for Moto 2 on Saturday, the thing about Lilian is like, she has such a positive attitude. And I think that really goes a long way within this industry. Like obviously, yes, she crashed, but she got her shit together, pulled it together, for practice 2 on Saturday, and Moto 2, she was happy as a clam, had those nails back out. Her dad is just amazing as well. Joe's awesome. And the whole family, is begging all of us to come out to PA as well. But obviously even Thunder Valley was a stretch, but really enjoy her family. Love to see how authentic they are.
It's like a true moto family, it reminds me of Brittany and I's family growing up. Our mom was super involved, our dad was super involved, our little sister got dragged out to all the races, whether she liked it or not. But just such a traditional moto family. Everyone's just having a good time. Everyone's being super, super supportive. And like you said, her dad, Joe, just biggest cheerleader. Her mom, super, super supportive too. And her sisters obviously being there is probably really special for them. But it totally reminded me, of Brittany and I's family growing up too, going to the races. And you've got the motorhome out there and you've got the whole family, you've got the dogs in the motorhome, and you're just out there supporting each other. And I think that's what motocross is. A lot of people think it's just a solo sport, and it's absolutely not. And I think her family really shows that and confirms that it's such a family sport, you know what I mean? But another point you made too in Moto 2 with her kind of fighting through the elements that she was dealt. She got a really good start in Moto 2, and she was running up with those top girls for the first couple laps. I think it's a huge learning opportunity for her to be able to hold that pace with those top girls. Right. Maybe giving her a little bit of confidence, hey, you could be up here consistently. Did you maybe take that away from, when you did get to talk to her and kind of got a little bit of a recap from her? Did you feel that she's what are her expectations? Did you get any of that on what she's expecting from herself? Because again, it's last week she got 6th overall. This week she got 8th overall. Of course, dealing with some of the variables, but I mean, does she expect to be a top 5, 4, top 3 rider?
She for sure wants it. She's in it, because when I asked her when we came back, obviously depending on how the girls do and everything like that, doing interviews and whatever else, when I went up and asked her and at the end of Moto 2, we're all still cheering each other on whether you get first or last, but she wasn't happy with 8th place. She wants more of that for sure. And like you said, if she was up there with the top girls, probably needs to hold her line up there a little bit more, but I think she's fully capable of it. Her riding style is sick. She's consistent on the bike. Obviously we saw it at Hangtown as well as Thunder Valley, but I think she definitely is a contender for, at least top 5 for sure. I think as she goes through these rounds and learns more, she's from Alabama, so she knows this humidity shit going into the next round, and I think maybe a lot of girls aren't used to that, so I think she kind of has an upper hand moving into that, and I think hopefully she gets a top 5 throughout this season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Especially like you mentioned, the humidity. Her being from Alabama, that is purebred humidity. Mm-hmm. Holy shit! I've been to Alabama many times, and I can tell you that it's a different type of humidity in the South. So yeah, I think this could be her time to maybe take advantage of having that experience riding and racing in the humidity. So yeah, hopefully she'll perform. So another Moto Fit Club friend, Emma. I can't talk anymore. Emma got 8th overall, went 7th in the first moto, 9th in the second moto. Sounds like she had to also overcome quite a bit. Maybe walk us through rear brake failure that she was dealing with after Hangtown, dealing with the altitude sickness and the exhaustion and the struggling breathing, and then obviously the Moto 2 front brake malfunction. I know you got to talk to her, maybe shed some light on, talk about variables that she had to overcome. She had quite a bit. She had a rap sheet of problems that she had to overcome at Thunder Valley. Yeah,
it's so interesting to hear what everyone goes through in these races, right? Because we see them on the track and we're like, oh my God, they're so badass and they're killing it. And then you kind of really open up the doors behind the scenes, and even talking to her husband, he's like, dude, after Hangtown and we had the rear brake failure, I locked my keys in the van. We just got the van. We just figured out all this stuff. And then coming to Thunder Valley, Emma getting altitude sickness. And then also, it sounds like from the wood chips and whatever was in the track, we'll talk about Jackie too, but finding the wire in her chain even after practice, there's just shit in the track. But having that come up, and basically she said she hit a jump and her front tire locked up, blew out her front brake caliper too. So all these things were coming into play, or whatever. So, you know, again, challenges behind the scenes, but she kept it going, kept it on two wheels. And I'm sure she's looking forward to kind of like going into PA with everything on the bike kind of dialed, and like, especially with the rear brake situation that happened last week, like they were waiting for the parts. And, you know, that's kind of an ordeal in itself when you kind of want to practice and go ride before the next round, right? And you're just like watching grass grow in the clock. So a lot of things have come up for them, but I'm super proud of her and her husband being out here, and especially Emma just going out there and still ripping. And I'm super excited to see what she brings to Pennsylvania. So,
yeah, that's once again absolute badass. Just it's like Australian. It's just purebred Australian. Like, wow, it's fine. Like, no breaks, no big deal. We're just gonna go out and rip and
we'll
and
figure
pull,
it out.
Yeah, pull an 8th overall, no prob. Like, just the craziest circumstances. But again, I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. Watching her ride,
no problem.
Was like, she's killing it, like unaffected, ripping. So yeah, like you said, hopefully she'll be able to come back next week, and I'll be curious to see how she handles the humidity, because I don't know, in Australia, is that usually a dry heat, or are they dealing with pretty significant humidity in Australia? I have no idea.
I want to say it's drier, but it's also way hotter. You know what I mean? Once you get down there, it's it can probably be up to like $120. So riding in that heat, but obviously dry heat is so much different humidity. Like, even if it's 80 degrees out and then you have 100% humidity, it feels like it's 130. So different elements for sure. Obviously, like Mother Nature tests you in all places all over the world, but I am curious to see how she handles it. Hopefully she's okay from being sick at Thunder Valley, and then obviously you have to drive across the country to go to this next race. So wishing her like full health going into this next round for sure.
Right after Emma in 8th, Michaela Nielsen went 16-3 for 9th overall. Obviously, the 16th place came from more engine problems for SLR Honda, which is kind of strange because she's, you know, one of the few girls that have that factory support, if you want to say, you know, a semi-factory support, you know. For WMX, we'll say it's factory support. So disappointing to see that second week in a row she's had some type of motorcycle malfunction of some type. I mean, it was pretty obvious when she was nursing the bike, you know, past the mechanics area, clearly trying to figure out what was going on. You know, obviously finished 16th, so she was able to get the bike across the finish line, but just really disappointing to see, like, you know, 2 weeks in a row her bike's giving her problems, because she's so much better than what we've seen this year. And I'm curious to see how she's going to do in High Point. You know, hopefully her bike will, I don't know, not cause any more problems. Or have these weird, uncharacteristic issues for somebody that has the support that she has. And you know, she's super fast. And I mean, I was watching her all day Friday, all day Saturday in qualifying and during the motos, and her corner speed, like, honestly, I think might be unmatched, because she really knows how to throw down in those corners. I was really impressed. Like, the few sections I could see, like, I would love to see, you know, who in the WMX class had the fastest segments through some of those high speed corners, because it was impressive. But again, like, if you don't trust your bike because you think it's gonna blow or it's gonna misshift or whatever the problem might be, I mean, that's like a whole element itself. So I'd like to see her have a weekend without any bike problems, and hopefully that's High Point, because I think she definitely deserves to have a dirt bike that, you know, is on the same level that she is. So we'll see what's going on with SLR Honda and see what the team's going to have in store for her to kind of get her back up on the podium consistently. Obviously 9th overall is not what she's capable of, and you know, I know the team is doing what they can to like minimize problems like this, but it's just disappointing. So we'll see how that goes for Michaela. But right behind that, 10th overall, Ava Silvestri, once again, absolutely stellar performance. Went 9th in Moto 1 and 10th in Moto 2, so super consistent for her. Again, super fast in her corners. It was really impressive to watch. Destiny Burgess went 10-15 for 11th overall. Haley Vasello went 15-11 for 12th overall. Kylie Alvarez, 14-12 for 13th overall. And then a breakout ride for Taylor Herald, who went 13 in Moto 1 and 14 in Moto 2 for 14th overall. It's her debut WMX round. She was not old enough at Hangtown to race Hangtown, unfortunately, according to the AMA rules, but she did turn 17 on Saturday at Hangtown. So kind of a weird gray area.
I think it was really a 6-hour difference in when the time that she was born. So yeah, really, really specific on the rules there. But
there was no give by the AMA on that.
They're rule, what time were you born? And so debut Thunder Valley. Obviously another like youngster to line up on the gate with all these fast girls, but another fast girl. So yeah, she's gonna give up, I think, probably top 10, another run for their money too. We'll see how she does at High Point.
Yeah, and we got to know her and her mom really well at Paula, round 1 of the Pro Motocross Series at the media days, press day, on that Friday, and really, really stand up family. Really, her mom is super dedicated to the success of Taylor and will literally do anything she can to make sure that Taylor has everything she needs to, be a top WMX athlete. So another one that really reminded me of Brittany and I growing up, like our mom was super dedicated to our success just as much as our dad. And so to see her mom out there being so invested in her daughter's success was inspiring. And I think Taylor's going to do some really big things. I think anybody can remember their first race or their first big pro debut and understand how much pressure there is, to perform. And she's been really successful in her amateur career. So I think she had a lot to prove. There's so much room to grow for her. So for her to get, 14th overall in her first pro motocross race, I mean, I think she should be really proud of herself. Her mom did say she's a really she's really critical of herself. I think like we all are as professional athletes. And so her mom had to kind of remind her like, hey, like this is the first round, for her career. So like there's plenty more to go. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more. She seemed like she could easily be a top 10 rider for sure. I think she just needed to get the first round jitters out. There was so much anticipation since she couldn't race Hangtown. So I guess we'll see how High Point kind of shapes up for Taylor, but stellar first round for sure. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment to just complete it, get out of the weekend, no injuries, minimal mistakes. I think she had 2 decent starts. Obviously, we'll talk about Brittany's first crash in Moto 2, first corner crash in Moto 2, but Taylor did a great job, so we'll hopefully see more from her. Haley Johnson went 12-17 for 15th overall. Carrie Kilbrew, 17-13 for 16th overall. And then we've got Big Brit, our team captain on the Moto Fit Club WMX race team. First moto went 11th place. Again, breakout ride, loved it. A lot of support there. Kind of shocked, kind of not shocked considering Hangtown's results. But then Moto 2, stellar start off the gate. Unfortunately hooked up with Taylor Herald, went down. Basically, they were cornering. She got cut off. Taylor saw the opportunity, gassed it, went in front of her, kind of took away Brittany's line, and Brittany got the short end of the stick and went down. So that meant she was dead last off the start, and basically had to fight all the way back up as quick as she can. Again, with these 12-minute motos, I mean, you make one little mistake and you're sprinting through your life at that point.
Really, yeah. If you cannot make one mistake, and I think that's something like hopefully that's looked at in the future, because obviously the women out there have the talent. You're giving the guys 30 minutes plus 2, and so you have time to make up those small mistakes, right? So,
which we saw in both the 250 and the 450 classes. Tons of mistakes were made, but I think out of those mistakes, all those riders were able to pick out a few more positions before the checkered flag.
A ton of them. You saw Davies do it. You saw Deegan do it. When he went down a couple times, like you have the opportunity to get back to, top 5, top 3, and whatever you need to do within the 30 minutes plus 2. But 12 minutes is like literally if you just drop it in that corner or whatever may happen in the start and whatever else, it's like, damn, dude, there goes my time. It's burnt.
Yeah, and you had a special opportunity this weekend to be Brittany's mechanic How was the balance between being the Moto Fit Club hype manager and now Big Brittany's mechanic? I mean, that's beyond a full-time job.
Yeah, it was definitely, the hype situation was definitely a full-time job at Hangtown for sure, but then coming into Thunder Valley, doing a little bit of both, the hype manager as well as Britt's mechanic. I think I still brought the hype, especially to the mechanics pit, like kind of being the only woman out there, like cheering them on. Like all the dads are super hyped to have me in there. I'm screaming louder than anyone that was back there, throwing up really fun boards. I really felt passionate about, obviously Britt and all the girls doing really well. And I think that it like matters to bring that energy out there, and you can see it and you can feel it and you can hear it, like especially when you're passing that mechanics pit area. So I really had a great time being Britt's mechanic. Hopefully either this year or next year I can do it again. But thank you for that added responsibility. It was so fun.
You handled it like a champ. If she wasn't obviously down for the count in Moto 2 and was like fighting for her life to try and make up positions, what would you put on the pit board? If you only had the hype manager hat on in that moment, how would you relay the hype on the pit board to all the Moto Fit Club girls? Because would you put like the girls didn't know like that song that you played last week? They loved it, but like what would you put on that pit board to like keep the vibes hot? I know, I'm sorry, but what were off the top of your head?
Well, you like that song, first of all.
Donuts. At the rig, or like, I don't know, like for Jackie, you could put like Coors Light, cracking it if you get 15th. You know what I mean? Like, what would you put?
Oh, so you want me to put like, what would I say individually for each girl?
Yeah, as the hype manager.
Oh my gosh, Elle Woods, I'd be like, I'm going to crack you a can of Coke when we get back, game on, baby, like get third place, we'll get that Coke. Yeah, Jackie.
The Coke is on ice.
Yeah, Coke is on ice. Slap me with an Uncrustable. Let's go, girls. And then I would also, Jackie does like her Coors Light after a good moto, and I think that we can go into that a little bit later too. But I think at one point I did put, just to like keep Britt going, I wrote like in bold, like, you're the bomb, just like keep them pinned, keep them fired up. I think I actually put that sign out there for LV, Elle Woods, Jackie, and Britt. Just kind of like a straight through inspiring message for all of them. Britt,
I'd be curious to know if any of the other racers, if they saw your pit board when you threw it out there for the Moto Fit Club girls. I would really like to know if any of the other racers out on the track, like if they went by and copped a little, eyesight of your board.
Look, I wasn't shy about it. Let's get real. I was definitely, I had it out there. I know Ava saw it. I know Lillian saw it because I was like literally like partnered up with her dad in that mechanics area. And I was, Moto Fit Club, this is my family and this is all of our family, but I am rooting for the other girls as well as Emma right next to her husband and stuff like that as well. So I think they did hear me. I hope that they saw the You're the Bomb board out there as well. It's kind of like an overall message for all the girls that are out there. Again, just like blowing the doors off of anything that's ever happened in WMX. So it's for everyone, baby.
I think that's why everybody wanted us to go to High Point. I don't think they cared about anybody else other than you going out there running the pit board. I think that's really what everybody wanted, but we still have an opportunity. What day is it? Like, this is like when we decided to go like last week, right? It's like, oh my God, like let's fly out on whatever day we're going to go out. So there's still time. We'll put it that way. But I think it makes a big difference to have the hype, especially in the women's pit, especially being friendly with everyone, talking to everyone's family, doing interviews with these girls, like making everyone feel as comfortable as we did back in the day. So it makes a big impact. Obviously, we would do anything to be in PA this weekend, but let's cross our fingers on hopefully another race out of the 6 coming up. Well, that's the thing too, is like, that's why Moto Fit Club even came to be, because we all just want to create that same experience that all of us had growing up at the tracks and at the nationals. whether it's the amateur nationals or the pro nationals, like we all felt what we did this last weekend, or the last 2 weekends, that like just big, the camaraderie and like we're all just pitting together, and you know, it's like we're all just at like a campsite having the best time ever. So it was fun to recreate that, and I think you're obviously a big part of that because, you know, we all grew up going to the races and having that camaraderie. So I think it was felt, you know, in the mechanics area when you were throwing that board with those aggressive notes on the board for the riders. So
super aggressive.
Yeah. All right. Well, Big Brit, she went 17th overall despite the first corner crash. You know, she was really disappointed. I mean, I think we all felt the emotions after the race. I mean, she was like really fired up afterwards because the sport's so emotional, and we could all feel it. I felt it when I saw her go down. I was like, God damn it. Like, it sucks because this is kind of the last pro moto that we're going to do, you know, pro national we're going to do for the foreseeable future. So for her to kind of go out of Thunder Valley with a 17th overall when she just pulled an 11th, you know, on Friday. Right. She also got such a good start that, you know, there was the potential for her to do, maybe get the best finish of, you know, this season and go out on a high note. But you could really feel the emotion. And I think that's something that a lot of the fans maybe don't see. You know, you see the girls on the podium. They're also super emotional because of what they've accomplished, and they should be. But then the rest of the 27 girls plus are all experiencing really heightened emotions afterwards too, because they all just raced, you know, at that level as well. And they all have their goals, and they're all aiming to get top 15, top 10, top 5, podium. You know, it's like they're all fighting for those positions too. So the emotions that you don't see behind the podium are, you know, just as high, if not higher, than what you see on the podium. So, you know, to feel the heat coming off Brittany from the anger, obviously having a hard charge for the last 11 minutes of the race, you know, to try and pick off as many girls as she could, you know, and then just the sheer disappointment. I mean, you could like, we felt it. We felt it pretty good. So disappointing, but also like we shouldn't be, considering the fact that we've surpassed and met all the goals that Moto Fit Club set out to do, you know, but
and more.
I think,
and truly more. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that means with that finish though, it means that we probably won't be the last time we'll race a pro motocross, because I think there's some vengeance that needs to be served from the Moto Fit Club camp. So
yeah, and also you know, like, and if we want to silver line this thing, because of that ending, which is we all know that crashing is a possibility in moto. It happens all the time. It's part of the sport. Obviously there's like heartbreak involved with that, but I think something like that happens pushes you to the next round, right? You're like, hey, like maybe Brittany doesn't want to give up yet, and maybe none of us want to give up like supporting everyone, right? So we're like, you know, we talk about it. We're like, oh my God, then so where can we go to next? Like, we're down to put in the effort. We're down to make another round happen. Hopefully we can this year. If not, like maybe it'll be all 6 next year. Maybe there'll be 8 next year. Who knows? But I think like I don't even want to use the word like failure, but when things like that pop up, it's kind of like gives you that extra boost of like, let's fucking get after it again.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So like you said, maybe we'll see what comes out of not meeting that goal that you have for yourself. Because I think we all see, you know, how you rise from, you know, being on the ground. So so we'll see how that kind of turns out for Big Brit. But all of us at Moto Fit Club were so proud of all the girls. So, but right behind Brittany, Jetta Jansen finished 19-18 for 18th overall. Lauren Woods, again, another stellar performance, even though she was thrown some surprise twists and turns this weekend. Some back blowouts took place, some pinched nerves for Lauren Woods, unfortunately. Friday, first qualifying round. Obviously, the girls go out first. Not our favorite, but someone's got to go first, and it was the WMX qualifying, round 1. Track is brownie batter. No one's ridden the track yet that day. It's been soaked. It's been marinating in water overnight, so it is just disastrous to go ride on. Everybody came back and looked like they were like a double-dipped chocolate cone because it was disgusting. But unfortunately, Elle Woods went down. It was a minor tip over, but the unminor part was her picking her dirt bike up out of the chunks of mud. So, you know, her bike went from the normal 200 pounds to now 500 pounds because it's got so much mud on it. And in doing so, she just absolutely wrecked her back. pinched a nerve, came back in, couldn't. I mean, we've all been there. We've all pinched nerves before, especially all of us. AARP athletes. We've all been there. She couldn't walk, couldn't breathe, could barely get off the motorcycle. Was literally on the floor. John with 360 Motorsports, Jackie's mechanic, literally had to physically support her as she was laying down, and then also had to pick her up off the floor so that she could get into the cart to go see, the medics. And
we were long on the phone. Short, we were like, get A-Star over here, whatever we got to do.
We were, Moto Fit Club was full bore. Like,
I thought we were medics. No, we were doctors.
We were about to put her on the floor and crack her back ourselves. I mean, it was drastic. I was about to give CPR. I didn't even know what we were doing. But
I didn't know what was happening, but you're like, call Christina. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I was like, we need to figure out where, what's going on here. Our rider is down. We need support stat. And Christina was super helpful. And Amy Quack, I believe was the last name. She was assisting Christina in the group this weekend. She came over and she checked in, and she was being helpful too. So thanks to her. Long story short, Elle Woods, Ash J, they were able to rip over to a local chiropractor. Got her back, took her spine out, whipped it, put it back in, came back, survived qualifying number 2, survived Moto 1, which she got 18th in the first Moto. So super stellar performance from Elle Woods, really showing us how, hardy motocross athletes are. I think after Moto 1, Friday night, she went back to the chiropractor and got an adjustment again too. And then Saturday came back and was able to pull out a 19th in Moto 2. Again, consistent ride for Elle Woods, despite broken back, blown out back. I mean, it's just that's a perfect example of what Moto Fit Club's all about. Like, we have the gnarliest athletes. We're dedicated. We when we put our mind to something, like we're gonna go out and do it. Elle Woods was not gonna miss qualifying or any motos that weekend, despite literally debilitating pinch nerve. Like, she was like, I don't even care. Like, she was literally like, Ash Day, take me to the chiropractor, crack me back. If you have to physically put me on my dirt bike and roll me up to my gate, like, so be it. We're sending it.
Yeah, that's another thing that happens on the back end. The commitment of the women is diehard. I think we've seen men stub their toe and they're like, I'm not racing. So, to see all these women have all these things come up and just be like, I'm still getting on that bike and I have this opportunity with the WMX and there's no way in hell that I'm going to miss this, is super inspiring too. So yeah, Elle Woods got after it again, brought her off-road, talent back out to Thunder Valley and was consistent. Yeah, it was cool.
So right behind our girl Elle Woods, our geriatric superstar Jackie Ives finished 20th overall. Not a stellar Moto 1 for Jackie. She did get 26th in Moto 1. She was kind of feeling, struggling with the mental side of it again. She knew that there were jumps she needed to jump that she just wasn't doing, but was able to figure it out. Moto 2 came out and got a stellar start, finished 16th. So we knew it was in her this whole time. Despite the challenges she kind of fought through in Hangtown with her body kind of shutting down, locking up a little bit, to Thunder Valley being able to pull out a 16th, out of almost 30 girls. Again, like, we know that it's there. She's got the strength. She has the racecraft. She has the experience. I don't know. Maybe I think what I'm seeing is the common denominator is the elders of WMX, Lauren Volunteer, Brittany, Jackie, they know what it's like to race on Saturdays on a pro day, because the consistency and the storyline for all three of those athletes are that they actually get their best finishes on Saturday. You would think that on Friday, when the track is in theory more tame or smooth or, less aggressive and less destroyed from what you would think, like, the pro 450, pro 250 guys, Saturday should have been, I mean, we all thought it going up to Moto 2, like, oh man, this track's going to be so brutal. We were literally watching on the screen the 250 and 450 class go out there, and the lines were just horrendous. We saw the best 450 riders in the world crashing in the ruts because they were so thick and so deep. So the mindset going into Moto 2 was just like, oh man, like, just stay on two wheels, don't die, don't dump it over, just stay on two wheels and you'll get a good finish. And Jackie basically did exactly that. Like, she not only did she just keep it on two wheels, but she raced that track, even in the condition it was. Yes, they groomed it, they cleaned it up really nice for the final moto of the day. But nevertheless, like you can only clean up a pro track so much. I mean, there's only so much time between the last 250 class and then when the WMX went out. So in that short amount of time that they were able to do any track maintenance, I mean, they're still going out and racing the last moto of the day. It's 5 p.m. The track's been beat all day. The ruts are insane. The jumps are insane. The heat's insane. And Jackie was able to pull her best finish out of both rounds that she's raced at. So I don't know. I think it has something to do with her being a geriatric WMX vet rider. That's my conclusion.
She is a purebred veteran out there, and I think you're right that even on day 2 on Saturday, like when you think everyone was nervous about the track on Saturday. It was shredded. But I think as a group, as a whole, coming back and again back to the raw emotion, seeing even Jackie emotional about getting the 16th place and knowing, I think that gives you that confidence again, that you have that in you, that you know what you're doing. You've been doing this for 25 years. Why can't I come back out and race this race again? And Jackie fucking brought it. And so I was so proud of her. It was super, super cool to see, one of the OG riders come back and still be 38 and against these 17-year-old chicks pull a 16th. So super proud of our Moto Fit Club geriatric star, baby.
Yeah, she proved not only to herself but to everybody out there that we even when we were sitting with Jordan and her dad, we were going back and forth on is Jackie the oldest WMX athlete to hit the track? And I'm pretty sure we have confidently confirmed that Jackie is in fact the oldest.
Yeah.
Triple confirmed the oldest WMX racer probably in the history. If somebody's listening and they can find me the facts, otherwise, please let me know. But I do think, and that by no means is anything negative. I think it's actually so badass and such an accomplishment. I think Jackie should be so proud of herself that a 38-year-old can go out and race a professional motocross race at the level and caliber that she did. So,
and look at how fast the girls are out there now.
Yes.
Yeah, racing all the way from 2005 all the way up. The girls are faster now. So to get out there, it is super inspiring. Obviously, don't let age stop you by any means. So super proud of Jack.
So Skylar Draycott, I believe is how you say her last name. Skylar Draycott, she went 22:20 for 21st overall. This was also her first WMX round. So congrats to Skylar. She did a great job. Again, debuting her pro career out at Thunder Valley. So great job there. Destiny Slingerland went 21:21 for 22nd overall. Ariana Scoville Tavares went 20:24 for 23rd overall. Lana O'Brien, 25:23, 24th overall. I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly, but I'm not going to butcher it, but Way went 24:25 for 25th overall. And then Lauren Volunteer, our girl LV, went 28:26 for 26th overall. Again, I think this weekend had a lot of expectations coming into her hometown race. By no means did bad. I don't want to make this sound like she did bad by any means. I think Lauren Volunteer, again, being such a veteran rider with so much racecraft and experience, raced the track, looked like she belonged out there, did such a great job, but you could definitely tell she was struggling mentally, trying to push through her expectations of how she knows that she can race to what the results were during the qualifying sessions. And I think that kind of set the tone, and it was really hard for her to kind of get out of that. But once again, got her best finish of the week on Saturday, Moto 2, the toughest track of the day, or of the weekend.
Give us the Saturday rides.
So I think the girls are proving that, not only are they capable of racing on Saturday on the same track as the guys, in the same conditions as the men, they're doing better because we're training for those conditions. We're professional athletes. We're out here to prove that it's almost like they're not trying to prove to the fans anymore that they're capable. I think that's been broadcasted so much. I mean, it's so obvious how how talented all of these girls are to race at the pro level. I think now it's proving to themselves that they are out here gunning for top 15, top 10, like I was saying earlier. Like it's so well beyond trying to prove to others anymore that they're supposed to be here, because it's just been so obvious. So LV is no different. I think she wasn't trying to prove that she deserves to be out there, because that's super obvious with, you know, how deeply rooted of a racer she is, and the skill level that LV has. But I think just proving to herself that, you know, her results aren't everything. The way she showed up, the way that she stuck through it, the way that she fought from the gate drop to the finish, you know, to the finish line, not giving up, fighting to the very end, racing that racetrack in the condition it was, you know, while also having to be conscious of having to go to work on Monday. So right. I think at the end of the day, LV is a prime example of, you know, what Moto Fit Club embodies, is just never giving up, being a purebred racer at heart, just having fun on a dirt bike, recreating kind of like those nostalgic moments that we all had growing up too, and being able to have her mom and dad out there supporting her, and being able to kind of being able just to race in general, you know, is such a privilege for all of us that don't get to do this full time anymore. So she really showcased why she deserves to be on the gate at a WMX, you know, level. And this was no different for her results at Thunder Valley. You know, I know she wanted to do better, and I know that she can do better. She knows she can do better. I think just like Jackie, they're top 15 athletes. But when you throw all these variables, you know, you have to work Monday. We had to drive out here. You know, we're all staying at families' homes or Airbnbs. You know, we're all putting money into this basically fully privateer funded, you know, race team. It's like there's just a lot that goes into it. So congrats on LV on 2 absolutely fantastic weekends for her. So I know she was wanting more out of her performance, but I think she put on such a great show, and she also met all the goals she set out for herself too.
Yeah, I think I've also, you know, one of the things to be noted off the track, there was so many fans and people that knew LV, obviously, like being hometown track. And I think she was the most popular one out of anyone that entire weekend. So, you know, obviously expectations can be a little bit higher for yourself on the track. But like to be able to even do these rounds and actually see all the support that LV had, like coming out of like Colorado, and she had friends and she had family and she knew people from the track and all of that, like I think that in itself is like pretty inspiring, right? When you see all the support coming your way, like it doesn't, no matter what position you're in and anything like that, like this is a community sport, you know? And like, so to see all that and having her family come out, obviously like meeting her mom was really incredible as well. So I think that we may have another opportunity this year to get the girls back on the track. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Giselle Spohr went 23-27 for 27th overall. I know, Sammy, you got to talk to her and kind of get to know her a little bit more. So in another episode, a little bit later, we'll have to play some of the interviews that you got with her and some of the other girls too. But for now, she did a great job at Thunder Valley. So good on Giselle for, you know, hammering down and getting 27th overall. Michelle Anaya, she went 29-28. For 28th overall. Sammy, you got to talk to her too. She's from Mexico, and she's also fully funding her program, her race program here in the States. Yeah. So we'll have to play her interview shortly and kind of see what you guys chatted about. But another international rider that's putting all she's got into her program here in the States. Rusty Tucker, 27-29 for 29th overall. Another athlete you got to talk to who also is putting everything she's got into coming over and racing, and she did really well too. And then Adrian Spiker, she went 30-30 for 30th overall, and then Ashley Anderson went 31-31 for 31st overall. So stacked class. It's kind of like the 250 class right now, where there is a lot of movement, you know, outside first and second. There's just a lot of shifting of riders, but I think going into High Point, we're going to see some more of that, especially with the changing of the elements. We're going from the West Coast to the East Coast now. So I think we're going to kind of see a little East-West, you know, shootout maybe, if you want to call it that, just with, you know, you have a lot of West Coast riders,
yep.
You know, that grew up out here racing that are going to go out to the East Coast and kind of throw down in the humidity and all the East Coast riders that came out to the West Coast to race, might have a chance to kind of show what they're capable of out there in the on the East Coast now. So, but with that, we obviously saw an influx of new talent coming in at Thunder Valley. Obviously, Taylor Herald and Skylar Draycott came in their first time racing WMX this last weekend. What were your thoughts on Taylor's performance? Obviously, she got caught up in that first corner crash with Brittany. Do you think that was because, she's a rookie coming in, she's kind of like the small fish coming into the big pond, or what do you think? Was it a freak accident, or do you think that's because, she's kind of new to the game here?
I think age and experience obviously has to do like a little bit with that, and you kind of become more aware of the track and your surroundings and things like that as these races go by and as you're a professional, right? Obviously could have been a mishap and things like that, but again, like track awareness is a big thing. When you go pro, obviously Taylor came out swinging though. Like, I don't think she actually realizes how good a 13th place go at this is to be like her first like rookie round to come out there. So I think that she is definitely going to probably climb the ranks next weekend. And then there's another new that's going to also come out next weekend, which I'm sure you'll talk about. So a lot of freshies that are turning 17 that they really have the talent. And so I think that it's going to be another big lineup going into next weekend, but it's, hard to say who's going to be in the top 10 next week.
Yeah. I'd like to think that, it was just like a racing incident in Moto 2 with Taylor. Like you said, maybe it's just comes with time and seat time, racecraft, like knowing where you are and your self-awareness in that first corner, because you never want to get caught up in a first turn pileup. And she was lucky she didn't get caught up in the crash too, just because Brittany got, her front tire kind of hooked up with her rear tire, and that, luckily she was able to power out and she didn't go down too. But obviously bummer for Brittany, but Taylor saw the opportunity and took it. So it'll be interesting to see how her and Skylar kind of develop over the next, the 4 rounds that we have left in the series, and see kind of how they go from their first round in Thunder Valley and their results to, how they can kind of build on that. But you mentioned it, Mela Herrick, she's actually going to be making her WMX debut at High Point. Very same storyline as Taylor at Hangtown. Mila's birthday is also on June 19th, which is also the same day as the High Point National. So she'll be making her debut next week, and she is a super, super talented dirt bike rider. She's had a lot of success in her amateur career, so she's kind of the big name coming into High Point. So we're gonna have to kind of see how she shapes up against the already stacked class. We did get to see her riding on a practice day actually a couple weeks ago prior to the WMX series starting at Kahia, and she definitely is a pretty petite rider, especially when she's riding a 250. She looks really, really, the bike looks pretty big on her. And I think Brittany and I were kind of in the same boat when we first jumped on 250s. We were 14 when we first got on a 250, and we looked pretty small on a 250 at the time. So that's, you kind of forget how young and how small some of these riders are. I mean, professional riders, both men and women, it's this, I never expected this, but I being in the sport so long, you start to recognize, like, Cooper Webb is really short and really small. Mm-hmm. Ken Roxon's kind of a petite guy. Ricky Carmichael, definitely a shorter guy. You have all these current athletes that you see them on TV, and they look like they're taller than they are, but then when you see them in person, you're like, holy shit, like, you're either a lot shorter than I thought you were, or you just have a small statue. And it's kind of like, maybe that's the key to being a good rider. I don't know. We also have some really tall, riders like Benny Bloss, and Chase Exton's a pretty tall guy. Obviously, Aaron Plessinger's tall too. But for the most part, a lot of the riders are pretty small. So I think seeing Mela Herrick like riding the 250 at Kahia that day, realizing like kind of how small she is like on a 250 after watching her successfully race and absolutely dominate, the 85 class and stuff like that. it's kind of jarring. So I'm curious to see how she is able to perform on a 250, not being on it for so long. Like I'm really curious to see how she kind of stacks up. If I had to guess, I would probably say a top 5 at High Point, but it's so hard to say. Yes, it's
a stacked lineup.
It's so stacked. I don't even know where I would place her other than I would probably say top 5.
What I will also say, on top of her being short, is her riding style is also sick and aggressive, and she knows what she's doing on that bike though. So even with the short part of it in there, like we were all watching her hit the finish line at Kahia, and she has an impressive style. So it's just so interesting. Every single one of these rounds, you have fresh meat coming in, whether it's Lotte, whether it's Taylor, whether whoever it is, every single round, there's faster and faster girls getting on that line. So it's like this season continues to get more and more exciting. And I can't, I wish we were going to be in Pennsylvania, but I really can't wait to watch this race coming up.
It's going to be psychotic. I
Blow
can't
the doors off.
Either.
It's going to be, yeah.
Every door is being blown right now. Every door is being blown right off the hinges. Awesome. Well, we're really excited to see how High Point shapes up. But in the meantime, you guys can head over to motofitclub.com. Follow us on social. We've got a bunch of new videos coming out on YouTube. We're blowing the doors off YouTube. Why stop there? So we've got tons of content coming out, and we're really excited to see all the love and support that WMX has been getting, and we want to be right there supporting it. So thank you, Sammy, for your insight, and we'll connect again here shortly and hopefully give a pretty stellar, exciting recap of High Point, because I think it's going to be, we're going to blow the doors right off of High Point too at this point. Blow them all off. Crazy.
Can't wait to be back. Can't wait to go through some of the interviews with the girls as well. It's super pumped.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on what you want to hear next on the Moto Made Podcast. Visit motofitclub.com for upcoming training courses, fitness programs, and community events and ride days. Follow us on social media at Moto Fit Club and check out our latest videos on our new YouTube channel. A big thank you to all of our Moto Fit Club sponsors: Free Bros Racing, Sign Art Graphics, Factory Connection, Rhino Power, and of course FMF Pipes. I'm Bry Marcotte. We'll see you at the track.